UFC 302. And before we get to the weigh-ins, I really wanted to get to sort of conveying a little bit of a message as to why people want Dustin Poirier to win so badly. And I'm going to put it in plain English language that many people want to see a feel-good story. Now, why? Well, let's be honest, right? In the world that we're living in right now, you have a very tough economy. You got a lot of people that are living from paycheck to paycheck. And then on top of that, you've got all these different tragedies that are going on around the world. Which, by the way, a lot of those tragedies, believe it or not to play the victim game to any degree, but guess what? A lot of that is happening to many Muslims worldwide. And somehow, they don't think that this is also a feel-good story for somebody like Islam Makhachev. Now, quite honestly, I don't know what I'm planning to do with this particular live stream that I'm doing right now, nor do I even have any plans of, let's say, I don't know, putting it on a video or anything like that, other than just maybe I might just put this on a live private stream afterwards and never having the world to see it ever again, unless, of course, whatever I say is going to be relevant to the results of tomorrow. But so far, I gotta be honest with you, many people really think that Dustin Poirier has a great chance of winning this fight. And the reason why you think that is because they want to look at the numbers with all the odds that are stacked up against Dustin Poirier. 35 years old. A lot of people at that weight class, past 35, don't win in that weight class, and with good reason, because it's a weight class that emphasizes on speed. It emphasizes on quickness, explosiveness, ring generalship, and ring awareness, or cage awareness in this particular matter. All these factors matter as to why people want to see Dustin Poirier win. On top of that, you also got to remember he's coming off of a loss against Justin Gaethje, and then only to come off of a win against a guy who, by the way, a lot of people really thought could beat Dustin Poirier. You see, people thought going into the Benoit Saint-Denis fight that Dustin Poirier was going to get smoked by Benoit Saint-Denis. All indications prove that Benoit Saint-Denis is an up-and-coming guy. He's a special forces guy. On top of that, he's a lot younger. He's unknown, which only means he's unproven. So there were people that sort of rooted for Dustin Poirier into the Benoit Saint-Denis fight, and as well as they are rooting for him in the Islam Makhachev fight. Now, why is this different? Because unlike Benoit Saint-Denis, Dustin Poirier is taking on somebody that is way more proven than Benoit Saint-Denis in Islam Makhachev. Sion Liu says, shh. I don't know what the hell that means. Shh. Are you trying to tell me to be quiet? Are you trying to tell me that because you think that Islam Makhachev is going to shut, Dustin Poirier is going to shut Islam Makhachev up? Let me know. Let me know exactly what you mean by shh with the context. But thank you for your engagement, and yeah. Anyways, I think the vast majority of the world who are not Muslim honestly want to see Dustin Poirier win, because of all these factors that I had just mentioned to you about the fact that he is the underdog. He's 35 years old. On top of that, he's got one last chance of finally becoming undisputed. And here's another thing I want to address, right? Why is it that every time Dustin Poirier loses the big one, he cries and wants the world to fall into his emotional fallacy? I need you to explain that to me. Why is it that we should go out and cry for this guy or cheer for him as if dude's risking his life and everyone else's lives on the road by live streaming and driving to one viewer? Braden says, well, risking my life, really? So while live streaming, bro, I gotta be honest with you, man. You, my boy, are not me. I don't know what you do. I don't know what part of the United States you live at, or even if you live in the United States, or if you live anywhere else in the world. But I understand your concern. However, you're just saying that because you want to pick at any low-hanging fruit. You see, this is the problem with people like you. Okay? People like you love to bite at low-hanging fruits. They love to pick at any little thing and then say whatever it is that you think that you're going to say as if it's going to create some kind of impact. Well, it's not. All you're doing is just giving me engagement, and you may say that it's one viewer or 10 viewers that are watching this. By the end of it, you idiot, you got to understand one thing. All of this accumulates. So even if you're just the one and only person that's watching right now, there's going to be 5, 10, 100 more other people after you that are going to watch it. So again, you're only looking at the superficial things in life, and that's sort of the reality that a lot of you live by. You live by the superficiality things of life, and that's just really what it is. Understand this. You're talking about, oh, I'm live streaming while I'm driving and I'm putting people's lives at risk. Well, okay, think of it like this, my man. Do you have a YouTube channel? Do you go out and put yourself out there and try to get views, garner attention, trying to monetize yourself on YouTube? Do you have any goals of doing that? And quite frankly, the problem is you don't. So therefore, you're not going to understand why I'm live streaming while I'm driving. And by the way, you're talking about how one person is only watching this. Well, right now we got 4 people that are watching. So shout outs to all of you that are tapping in with me right now live as we talk about why Dustin Poirier is so beloved that everybody wants to see him win. And I'm going to explain to you that part of it could be Islamophobia. That's a big part of it. Although I don't think that it's really that much of a big part to, let's say, the real hardcore fans. Because if there's one positive thing that I could say about true MMA fans, and when I mean true MMA fans, I'm talking about the people that actually go out there and, how do I say this, train, that actually learn the sport, that actually understand the sport for what it's worth. By the way, Islam Makhachev is going to break him down. That's right. El-Kheer, the screen name that had just said that right there, just said that. He said he's going to break him down. Correct. By the way, guys, if you're tapping into this live stream right now, let me know when the weigh-ins are going to happen. I'm going to sign out right after the weigh-ins. I just wanted to hop on a real quick live and do this. Hopefully, it's not starting right now, but I believe it's 2 o'clock right now. So what we'll do is we will go for, let's say, another 5 to 7 minutes, and then we're going to call it a stream after that, right? So for those of you that are tapping in, Dustin is a one-dimensional fighter, El-Kheer says. So is he one-dimensional because he only boxes, but he also has great jiu-jitsu? Now, here's the problem with a great jiu-jitsu and good boxing. You see, he doesn't have good wrestling against a good wrestler. So it's going to be very difficult. I got to tell you guys, before I leave this stream, except Khabib versus the McGregor outcome. Okay, so before I leave the stream, I want to tell you some of the top reasons why people want to see Dustin Poirier win. And this wasn't meant to necessarily be about, let's say, a fight breakdown, because I have other videos to do that. This is more of a sociological experience, a sociological understanding of why people want to see Dustin Poirier win. And here it is. because people want to feel better about themselves. Many people don't like the fact that their lives are in miserable shambles. So when they see somebody that is an underdog like Dustin Poirier, it makes them feel good about themselves. And as a result, well, it gives them hope for their lives. So a part of me can't blame them for wishing good upon Dustin Poirier, but as a Muslim brother of Islam Makhachev, of course I'm going to say go to hell with that particular notion. And that's the beauty of the fight game. You see, there are other people out there who share the same cultural values as Dustin Poirier, okay? There are people who share the same cultural value as Islam Makhachev. And guess what? YouTubers and content creators like myself are the quintessential reality of that concept. Just like Theo Von is the ideological concept of Dustin Poirier, I am the ideological concept of Islam Makhachev, Khabib, Khamzat, Hamza Shiraz, Arthur Beterbiev, all these top names in the world of professional boxing, MMA, and everything in between, and even Muay Thai if you want to add Badr Hari into that mix. So understand that this is a chance for people to feel good, to feel like they have hope in something. And by the way, I got about maybe less than 3 minutes before I hop off this stream, and I'm going to explain one more thing to you. So a buddy of mine, Italian-American, during the Euro Cup finals between England and Italy. By the way, for those of you that don't know, I'm a fan of Team England. Not necessarily because I'm from there. Yes, I got homies there. I got some families there. But the reason why I go for Team England is because, number one, I love their fighting culture, their boxing culture. But not only that, I also love Premier League soccer. So, of course, I'm going to go for Team England whenever they are in the international stages. So in 2020, 2021, or something along those lines, they have the Euro Cup finals. A buddy of mine who's an Italian-American said to me, I cannot wait for Italy to win this because Italy has gone through so much tumultuous struggles during the pandemic that it is only right and appropriate for them to win, and not only win, but also grab that trophy, hold it up high as a sense of hope for the economic struggles that people of Italy were going through, for the hardships that have been happening in the unemployment lines and people having a hard time in that country. But little do you know, England at the time was also facing the same struggle. So why I'm mentioning that? Because everybody's looking at Dustin Poirier, somebody who comes from New Orleans, a land that was plagued by a flood back in 2005, which altered the entire face of that city, on top of the fact that it is literally one of the highest murder rates of all America. So there's a lot that people can look at and say, hey, that guy is the underdog. I want to root for him. I want to go for him. I want to make sure that he makes it on top. But here's the problem. The problem is this. Islam Makhachev, who is a Muslim, who has come from a war-torn country in the same similar fashion that Dustin Poirier comes from a city full of murders, you could basically compare that to the same type of struggle in terms of living in a murderous city on top of living in a war zone. But also being a Muslim and being tied to the Palestinian struggles and all the things that are going on right now, you don't think that Dustin Poirier is that Islam Makhachev is also an underdog in that particular sense? But that's what a lot of people want to ignore. And I'm going to leave it off with this, right? There was a time, and there still is, where African Americans were dominating boxing. But at some point, for whatever reason, they became dominant to the point where many people forgot about their struggles in their past history. And I'm talking about African Americans in boxing, okay? But whenever they take on somebody who is an underdog of any kind, let's say it be like a Rocky Italian American type of fighter, all of a sudden a lot of people want to root for this guy. Why? Well, for the simple fact that they are now looking at the dominant champion as somebody who doesn't have real struggles in real life. So understand that. People are rooting against Islam Makhachev because they don't understand the struggles that he has going on outside of his life. They only understand the struggle that Dustin Poirier is experiencing. So that is the reality that we are facing right now when it comes to why people want Dustin Poirier to win so bad. So that is all that I have for this particular content in this particular moment of time. I believe that the UFC weigh-ins are about to start right now, and I will see you guys in the next content. Don't forget to like and subscribe, inshallah. Oh, and before you do, let's take a look at this view of the river that I am driving at right now. The Sacramento River. I'll see you guys in the next content.